So we often think of emotions as these fleeting states, right? Joy, sorrow, anger, love, bliss. They come and go like waves on the surface of an ocean. But um, what if I told you that our emotions are, they're not random, they're echoes of something deeper, something maybe even ancient within us, right? So today I want to take you on a little bit of a journey into understanding the true nature of emotional states and where they come from and why acknowledging and transcending them is essential for our growth. So I think this is going to be a deeply transformative process, and one that has been understood and practiced in tantric traditions for millennia. So emotions aren't just psychological reactions. They're these energetic imprints stored within us as what are called samskaras, psycho-spiritual momentum, right? Subtle impressions from our past experiences. Most people would call it karma, but that's not the right word. This word karma is misused quite a bit by individuals. Karma just simply means action. So our samskaras are the accumulation of all of those actions. So every action, every thought, every experience leaves an imprint on our being, and these impressions shape how we feel, how we react, and how we perceive the world around us. So some of these impressions are from our current life. Others can go really far beyond that. Patterns carried over from past experiences, woven into the fabric of our subconscious. And when a situation in the present resonates with an old samskara, right, an old impression, that stored energy arises to the surface and we experience it as an emotion. This is why certain events trigger deep reactions that seem disproportionate. We're not just reacting to this moment, but to a long chain of past moments. So in many spiritual traditions, emotions are seen as obstacles, things to be suppressed, avoided, or transcended. But in Tantra, emotions are doorways. They reveal where our energy is stuck, where we need to grow, where we are still bound by all of these old patterns and behaviors. So ignoring an emotion doesn't make it disappear. In fact, suppressing emotion only buries them deeper into the subconscious, allowing them to resurface with greater force when triggered again. So the key is neither indulgence nor suppression, but awareness, right? To witness an emotion fully without identifying with it allows it to be processed and released. The problem is a lot of times with individuals, they're willing to witness an emotion, but they identify with it very strongly and form more of an identity around that emotional state. So, how do we transform these deep-seated impressions? How do we move beyond the grip of old emotional patterns? So the tantric approach is a combination of awareness, acceptance, and transcendence. All of these put together, right? So first, we witness without attachment. So the first step is to observe. When an emotion arises, instead of immediately reacting, pause, feel it, but don't become it. Simply acknowledge its presence. Like, here's anger. Here's fear. By witnessing instead of identifying, you create a gap between the emotion and yourself. So, in this space, this kind of transformation begins for us. So, secondly, we have to trace it to its root. We have to ask ourselves, where is this coming from? What is the deeper pattern behind it? So often when we trace emotions to their root, we find that they stem from old wounds, unmet needs, or deep-seated fears. So once you see the origin, the emotion begins to lose its hold over you. Third, we want to, offer it up. So in Tantra, every experience, pleasant or painful, is fuel for growth. Rather than resisting emotions, we offer them into the fire of transformation. So this can be done through meditation, mantra, or deep contemplation. Instead of being consumed by the emotion, let it be consumed by the higher awareness within you. Number 4, we want to redirect the energy. So every emotional state is energy. If we do not direct it, it will direct us. Tantra teaches that we can refine and redirect emotional energy through conscious practice, whether through breathwork, mantra, movement, or selfless service, right? By channeling this energy into something higher, we prevent it from stagnating or pulling us downward. So if we remain bound by our emotional samskaras, right, we continue repeating the same patterns, living the same stories over and over again. But life is not meant to be a loop. It's meant to be an ascent, a continuous movement toward expansion and liberation. True freedom isn't found in escaping emotions, but in mastering them. When we no longer react blindly, when we are no longer at the mercy of these old patterns, we gain sovereignty over our own being. So this is where real growth happens. This is where we move beyond limitation and step into our highest potential. So the next time you find yourself overwhelmed by an emotion, just pause. Recognize that it's not just something happening to you. It is something arising from within you. Something asking to be seen, understood, and transcended. You're not your emotions. You are the awareness that witnesses them. Right? And through that awareness, through that presence, you hold the power to transform them into wisdom, into strength, into liberation. Namaskar.